For millions of Americans, Theresa Caputo wasn't just a television personality. She was a lifeline. When Long Island Medium first premiered on TLC in 2011, viewers were instantly captivated by the platinum-haired woman from Hicksville, New York, who claimed she could hear messages from the dead at any moment. In grocery stores, nail salons, parking lots, no stage, no warning. Just voices demanding to be heard. What most people didn't see was the cost. Before the fame, before the cameras, Theresa was already living with what she described as a non-stop connection to the spirit world. As a young woman, she struggled to understand what was happening to her. The voices didn't turn off, they didn't wait, and they didn't care if she was exhausted, overwhelmed, or scared. When she married Larry Caputo in 1989, she hoped for normalcy, stability, a quiet family life. Together they raised 2 children, Larry Jr. and Victoria, in suburban Long Island. On the surface, it looked like a typical marriage. Working-class roots, family dinners, routines. But Theresa wasn't typical. As her abilities intensified, so did the emotional weight. She has said repeatedly that she didn't choose this gift. It chose her. Spirits interrupted birthdays, conversations, sleep. And as her public profile grew, so did the expectations. Then came television. TLC turned Theresa into a phenomenon. The show was a hit, drawing millions of viewers every week. Fans cried with her, mourned with her, thanked her for helping them heal. But behind the scenes, Theresa was carrying thousands of strangers' grief, and still carrying her own. Larry, her husband, struggled with the life that came with her fame. He traveled frequently for work. Theresa traveled constantly for filming and live shows. Time together shrank. Communication thinned. Loneliness crept in quietly. What viewers didn't realize was that while Theresa was helping others find closure, her own marriage was slowly unraveling. She later admitted that the emotional exhaustion was relentless. Being on all the time left little room to simply be a wife, a mother, or even herself. When cameras shut off, the spirits didn't. By the mid-2000s, cracks were visible. Theresa and Larry spoke openly on the show about distance and frustration. He wanted normalcy. She couldn't escape her calling. In 2018, after nearly 30 years of marriage, they divorced. For fans, it was shocking. For Theresa, it was devastating. She didn't lose her belief in love. She lost the life she thought she could balance. And that was only the beginning. Divorce changes everything, even when it's mutual. After separating from Larry, Theresa found herself alone in ways she had never experienced. Her children were grown. Her marriage was over. And her career, the very thing that made her famous, demanded more from her than ever before. At the same time, the public expected strength. Fans didn't want to hear about her heartbreak. They wanted messages, closure, comfort, answers from the other side. Theresa showed up, night after night, city after city, even when she admitted privately that she felt drained to her core. What people forget is that mediums don't just deliver messages. They absorb grief. Theresa has spoken about how deeply emotions affect her body. Headaches, exhaustion, emotional overload. She's described days where she felt physically ill from carrying the pain of others. Yet stopping wasn't an option. The spirits didn't stop calling. The audience didn't stop needing her. Then came another loss: identity. For decades, Theresa had defined herself through family. Wife, mother, provider. Suddenly, the house was quiet. The routine was gone. The role she played for so long disappeared. She has openly admitted that there were moments she questioned everything. her marriage, her purpose, even her strength. And yet, she kept going. Public scrutiny didn't help. Every move she made was dissected online. Some questioned her abilities. Others accused her of being fake. Few acknowledged the emotional toll of living a life where grief follows you everywhere. The cruel irony? The woman who helped millions cope with loss was struggling with her own. She lost the marriage she fought to save. She lost the family structure she cherished. And she lost the illusion that helping others would protect her from pain. By her mid-50s, Theresa was forced to confront a truth she could no longer ignore. You can't pour endlessly from an empty cup. Now, at 58, Theresa Caputo speaks differently. Not with desperation, not with illusion, but with honesty. She has admitted that the greatest tragedy of her life wasn't divorce or criticism. It was forgetting to protect herself. For years, she prioritized spirits, audiences, and strangers over her own emotional survival. She stayed strong for everyone, except herself. Theresa has since taken steps to reclaim balance. She speaks more openly about boundaries, about saying no, about listening to her body and her heart. She has emphasized that even people who help others heal still need space to grieve. She doesn't frame her life as broken. She frames it as transformed. Her relationship with Larry evolved into mutual respect. Her children remain her anchor. And while she still connects with the other side, she now acknowledges the importance of grounding herself in this one. What makes her story heartbreaking isn't failure. It's sacrifice. The sacrifice of a woman who carried the pain of the living and the dead, and paid for it with her own peace. At 58, Theresa Caputo's tragedy isn't about loss alone. It's about resilience. It's about learning, late in life, that even healers need healing. And perhaps the most powerful message she's ever delivered isn't from the other side, but from her own heart. If this story moved you, remember this: strength doesn't mean silence, and helping others should never cost you yourself. Like this video, if you believe emotional truth matters, share it with someone who gives too much of themselves. Subscribe for more deep, respectful stories beyond the headlines. Because sometimes, the most heartbreaking stories belong to the people we thought were the strongest.